Hey, security peeps, we are live with another edition of Breaking Into Cybersecurity. I am Renee Small, cybersecurity super recruiter, demystifying cybersecurity careers for the month of October, which is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I am here with an awesome guest, Justin Jones. Say hi to everybody, Justin.
Hi, everybody.
So Justin is here to kind of help with more job hunting. So Justin's been here pretty much every Saturday or a couple Saturdays ago, and he's back now to help with actually the job hunt. So Justin, do you want to take it away?
Oh, yes, of course. And thank you for that introduction. And what I want to say is a lot of times people just have generic, hey, just go do these things, right? And they sometimes oversimplify it or make it too difficult for you to kind of gauge how you take your next step. So what we did a couple weeks ago was I actually in chat said, hey, what are you looking for? What location? And I actually showed a few different search engines, LinkedIn, through Google, Indeed, different ways. And I said, hey, here's 4 or 5 jobs for this one person, right? And then here's a recruiter also you can link up with immediately. So that day while they were on here live, they were already reaching out to these recruiters, already applying to the positions, all that stuff. And then on top of that, I went into detail about, the resume piece needs to correlate to the job, but only if you have that experience. Don't just grab keywords, toss it in there, because what's going to happen is that pre-interview or some piece of that, you're just going to fall flat, right? So you want to set yourself up for success. So that's one piece is, so if there's some things in there that you may not fully understand, because a lot of job postings will have maybe like 30, 40, 50, 200 different line items. And there's not one single person that has touched each piece of that, or at least become very experienced on, right? So I can open up an application, spend an hour, 2 hours learning it. That doesn't mean I'm experienced in it, but I'll at least had a little bit of knowledge of what that does, how it plays into the overall picture, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, don't feel that just because there's a few bullets on a posting, you're not that great candidate that company wants to apply and to bring on board. So I always push apply, apply, apply. Let someone else tell you the no.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. Philip Wells says, hello, Justin and Renee. Hello, Philip. Come with your questions. Anybody that has questions. So Justin, do you want me to share this profile?
I'm going to share. I'm going to share my screen real quick,
Okay.
just so it's on. Since you're the host, you can navigate a little better.
Yeah.
And I'll just move on my end. So I just sent the application share.
Okay. Hold on. Let me add this to the stream. There we go. Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it. Yep.
Perfect.
So years ago, this guy named Michael Quinn, was previously in the military, got out, landed an excellent job. He has so many stories he shares. He's one of the LinkedIn top voice. So what LinkedIn does is every year they actually announce these are the people that you should follow, that will help inspire you, help you your future, right? So I stumbled upon him early on, and this isn't just if you're a veteran, if you have a clearance, anything like that. This is just strictly creating, modifying, and making your profile better for people that are looking at you, right? So what a lot of times happens is you create a quick profile, maybe spend 5-10 minutes on it, and then out you go, right? You just start looking for jobs, you look at posts, you reach out to recruiters, do all that stuff. So, but if you look at it in reverse, when you look at your profile itself, how does that speak to others, right? So a picture, I know a lot of people, there's differences of opinion about that, but typically having a picture there that increases overall engagement. Period. No matter what that picture is, whatever. but typically that will increase engagement. A lot of people don't want to just see a blank screen, and that's what they're talking to. Same with when you're doing video chat like this. If I was a blank screen, all you're hearing is this voice. You don't see any expression, anything of that nature, right? So that's a big piece to that, right? So going further down, right? So a big piece is, who are you? What type of background do you have? So that's where this headline really pushes it, right? Having a background image. So a long time ago, and I need to bring it back again, but my background picture used to have all my CompTIA certs. And now I've added a few other certs since then. So I need to go back to the person that made it for me, pay him a few bucks, and remake it with all my other certs. So like in the background, so right when you click on my account, you'd be like, oh crap, that's pretty cool. I mean, and it makes it look professional, right? And that's what we're pushing for. And then you have a quick summary. So your summary page can really push the seeking job, skilled in, different keywords, so that when people are looking for you, they can find you with those certain keywords, right? So just put in cybersecurity in your profile, get more in depth of actual positions within the cybersecurity realm. So when people are looking for you, or they just, if they only had 2 minutes to look at your profile and say, yeah, this person looks like they can do this position, right? Give them some ammo, to work with when they're making that decision. And then further down, and Renee shared this, and I really encourage people to take the few minutes to read this. And he goes straight into why you need to do this, how LinkedIn does all this for you, and step by step with the actual setting up your profile. So, I mean, it's pages and pages and pages of him going very, very in depth. And as I was saying, it's that leveraging your profile for that person, the recruiter outside looking at you. So this is another thing of all the information that you can see from those recruiters. And I mean, that's pretty much what this whole piece is about, is making you on LinkedIn look better than you were yesterday.
And I want to add, Justin, that when you shared this with me recently, I think this is so powerful because it breaks every section down. And to your point, it shows people this is what recruiters, like the different engagement. At the end of the day, LinkedIn is a recruiting platform. They say it's other stuff, but the money comes from companies, with hiring with recruiter seats, and hence why so many recruiters reach out to people, et cetera, and have been for however long LinkedIn's been around, almost 20 years. So with that said, very much all the algorithms, they're almost like an applicant tracking system from a search perspective. And so everything that Justin is talking about, and Michael Quinn, who, kind of outlined this, he's right. He's sharing like, okay, having cybersecurity. I tell people all the time, you want to have it peppered throughout your resume. You want to have whatever skills you are, I'm sorry, not throughout your resume, throughout your LinkedIn profile, which is like the resume at this point. In keywords in like throughout the body of the whole entire LinkedIn profile, because what happens is, when a recruiter is looking at it from the back end of LinkedIn and they type in like certain keywords, like, oh, I'm looking for an incident response lead, I'm looking for a cybersecurity analyst, I'm looking for whatever the title is and whatever skill sets, when they type those keywords in and they do that search, they're going after the people who have it like peppered throughout their whole profile. So, this is just so powerful, sharing this guy kind of outlining and with the arrows and everything, bit by bit, showing you the backstory to LinkedIn and what is important, and changing, even editing the link to your URL, all those different things that make a difference. So thank you, Justin, for this.
And a piece of it too, it's like a how-to guide. Like, if you first make a LinkedIn account, like click next, like do this to, build a profile. This is taking that and taking it to a new level, right? So the people that know about this and actually leverage this for what it is, this might take you 15, 20 minutes to build out, but I guarantee you there will be more recruiters and more people that will see your account, period. There's no question about it. When you sprinkle in those keywords, when you have, those titles within your headline, not just job seeking as a headline, you actually put looking for a role, and possibly, if you have a certification, other things in there. For Michael's perspective, right? He put, he had his clearance, and this is, what he's looking at. He wants to be into management, right? And I would take it to another level, as if, especially since he's a top voice on LinkedIn, is to look at some of his previous posts. He'll post about his time getting out, where he's looking at working for the NFL, right? And then they decided to pass on him for various reasons, but it didn't stop him from keep looking for other avenues and other ways of doing things, right? Or the time of he was too dressed up for an interview, right? But he was taught that, right? So he was told, hey, this is how you need to present yourself in this manner and all that stuff. And he shows up and they're all in casual outfits, and so he thought that might have been another piece to this puzzle, right? So what I want to say with that is, always discuss with the recruiter and with the team that's hiring you how to come in and stuff like that. Like, engage with that team.
It's really about the culture. I think that's so important. I mean, if you show up in a startup and you're suited all the way up with a tie and everything like that, and everybody else is walking around in jeans and t-shirts, then it's going to show that you don't fully understand what the
Culture.
culture
Yep.
is like. Exactly. And culture fit is key. So definitely, Justin, I'm glad you touched on that, so that you can so people can kind of ask the recruiter, what do people do? What should I wear? Is this a student tie environment? Do your own research. I mean, all of your security people, do some OSINT, get out there, figure out, see what these people, when they're doing presentations, things like that, like what are they wearing? If everybody's in polo shirts most of the time, or if you go on their website and they got pictures of people, in the office, and most folks are in jeans, then, you may not want to wear jeans to the interview. I'm not saying anybody should wear jeans, but you want to show up in a way. You don't want to be like the stiff corporate banker when going into, a tech startup or something like that. Justin, before we continue, do you want to keep this up while we continue?
We can keep it up, since
Okay, cool.
because I have it in the post, so we can, for right now, I keep it up.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll just shout out some people who are here. So Philip is here. Hey, Ozzy, she's here. She says hello. Danielle, hey Danielle, she's here. Good afternoon. Hey, fam. Dave Kinsler says hey, fam. Hey. Let's see. Someone else is here, but it just says LinkedIn user. And I swear to you all, right now, while I'm on this chat, I'm going to figure out how to get that LinkedIn user thing off. And then Shreya is here. Hey, Shreya, she reached out to me beforehand. And Derek Liggins is here. Hello, Derek. So, Justin, where are we going? Every time I say my son's name is Justin. So when I say Justin with power, like Justin.
It's fine.
So wait, go ahead, continue.
No, so that's what I would say is, a big piece of it is, how you represent. So a lot of people think, oh, I just need to get these questions right, right? Hey, I went in an interview, they asked me what 2 + 2 is, I told them 4. Cool, right? But it's how you present yourself, how you present what the company will look like, all that. So there's an entire package that you're bringing to a company for that time. So they're not just paying for your knowledge and your skill set. It's who you are overall, right? And that goes into inclusion, diversity, and all these other hiring practices that say, are you fit to come in and represent what we as a company want to present, right? And that I would say that that's a big piece of it, and understanding how to navigate that portion, right? No matter who you are, what background you have, it's how to engage with different people across the entire spectrum, especially if you work at a worldwide uh, institute where you're going to go to multiple different countries or engage with people, across this country or other countries. It's where you need to know how to engage, right? So something on your profile could also show something of that degree, right? For me, I had on my resume for about 3 years. I was in an inclusion diversity team. I was like the assistant lead to it, right? So it was building that culture within the command we were at the time, and making sure everyone had equal level playing ground. There was no bias. We talk about bias and uh, bias that you can't see because it's in your blind spot. So, we shed light on that, and I think if every company and everyone out there did this, and they pushed that every day and lived by that, I think overall we would be in a better position too. So again, like I said, it's not just the 2 + 2 = 4. It's everything as a whole going into that interview. And
Yep.
that's the key is here's steps getting to that interview, but overall here is how once you get there, there's different pieces to that puzzle. There's some interviews where there's a whiteboard and they say, this is what I want you to start presenting to me, right? So you could be a network engineer, no laptops, no nothing, just here's a whiteboard, and they start quizzing you on different things, and you literally just on a whiteboard writing it out. But if you don't know that beforehand, you can't prep for it.
That's 100% true. And like you said, it's one thing to get the interview. It's another thing to get to the final, the second, get through the rounds and get the offer. So, step one is having that profile, getting you to the top. Step two is being able to get in your understanding, doing some due diligence and some research beforehand to understand the landscape so that when you're preparing, you know what to do. Okay, some more folks are saying hi. Hey, Stefan. He says hi. Philip says hi again. Hi, Philip. We said hi to you. Patrick Moulton says hi. Jesse says hello, Justin, Renee, and everyone. Hello. And then, Gina King says hi. It was her. Gina, I'm going to figure out how we can get this LinkedIn user thing off of the profile. I think it has something to do with your security settings, but I'm working on it right now while we're in here.
All right.
So Justin, I posted it up. Everyone has it. I posted it on and Reginald says, hey, I love how everyone is here on Saturdays. I think this is so cool. I mean, you know what's so funny? It's like we doing this show daily for this month. We're on day 17, which is nuts. So it has been such an experience. And what I really, really appreciate more than anything else is that A, you all keep coming back. So the guests are phenomenal. And then B, the audience, like just coming and talking and being engaged. I can even tell you that it's coming up soon, but this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be on the tool that we use is called StreamYard to stream. And, they taken notice. So I'm going to be on their show talking about streaming on LinkedIn and doing these and, helping the cybersecurity community. And it's just so cool. And I love the engagement. So please ask your questions. I know Justin is going to jump in a little while and start helping people actually do the job hunt, right, Justin? Or did you want to do something else before we did that?
No, I mean, I'm really open to assisting in the job hunt. Just like I did 2 weekends ago, people reached out to me. I sent them a couple links, some little chat sessions, things like that. If I didn't get back to you, just reach back out. I would always encourage people, if you hear crickets, especially if it's from a recruiter, from whoever, a few days later, reach back out and say, hey, kind of a follow up. So a case in point, Very, very rarely do I have a applicant or a person that went through the interview process even reach back out, right? They're just waiting, right? Now, another piece of that is a lot of them don't ask that follow-up question of, okay, what's next steps, right? Now, I give that information at the very end, but before I give that, I say, do you have any questions, right? Always have questions, because those questions make me do a little bit of mind search and make me register you even more, right? So now you asked a question about the CEO or work-life balance or whatever widespread question you can have, right? And typically I can answer that pretty fairly quickly and have a good conversation with you, right? But when you say, "Hey, I don't have any questions," it kind of you're not really. It doesn't seem like you're that authentic and engaged, right? So it sounds like more of a one-way street in that engagement. So when you have those questions coming back, it's you also asking, hey, is this a company that I want to work for? You don't say that exactly like that, but you have certain questions that align to, is this a company you want to work for? Now, if it's the only position available to you, of course you want to work there. um, but what I'm trying to get at is make sure who you are as a person aligns to that work. So when you do go to work, it doesn't feel like work, right? So you can be there for a year, 2, 3 years, and it doesn't feel like you showed up to your job still.
Exactly. You want it to be fun. You want it to be well, A, you want your work to be fun, right? You want to have a good time. And then B, you want to share with the team that this is something that you want to do. And you want to have a good time, that you're interested, you're engaged, all that good stuff. So a couple more folks over here. Justin, hold on one second. My daughter is trying to show up behind me, which is going to be kind of comical getting her out of here one second.
So what I would also say to people that are on here live viewing or people that are on here after the fact, definitely reach out to me. Definitely jump in every time she does go live. Renee goes live. There's always interesting facts, always interesting information that's being shared every single day, or when she does have these live events, that will help you. Period. There's no question about it. Just like I shared the Michael Quinn thing, she may have not have seen that. You may have never seen that. But now that 20, 30 minutes now you can spend to develop your LinkedIn piece, makes you even that stronger candidate.
Okay, the little one is gone. That's the 3-year-old. Okay, so I think this is Gina here that says, wow, you are correct. Or they don't ask up front, what is the process, that immediately cannot follow through. So, to Justin's point, you're going in there, you're not asking what's the follow-up, what's next, understanding the process. Sometimes, and I see this posted up often. People might say, oh, we're asking for 5, people are talking about 5 rounds of interviews or what have you. Some companies, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but some companies go through 5 rounds of interviews. And if you are actively looking for an opportunity and you are the person who wants to get the job, you got to be prepared to go through those 5 rounds. And how to be prepared is to set your expectations and know that this is what the company's process is.
And I would also say when you look at multi-round interviews, yes, as a candidate, it's taxing. Period. There's no question about that, right? You have to reschedule things. You have to possibly take time off from your current job. All these slews of issues you have to correct so that you can attain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how many other interviews, right? But you also know that this is a process that are you're vetting the people that you will work with, right? So you know that other person you're engaged with, working with, whatever, went through an HR board, a technical board, management board, whatever board it is that they want you to go through, actual hands-on board, all these different pieces, right? So you know that's the playing field you're on. You have excellent talent and possibly, tens of thousands of people that applied to this position, and it vetted down to maybe 10 people that even went through the first round, right? And you got a smaller and smaller niche of people, but that this is a really great environment and very intelligent people you're working with.
Exactly. Okay, a couple more comments while we're doing it here. Reginald, I think that is outstanding. Thank you. Somebody said, I love kids. Oh, this must be Gina. Yeah, my daughter is a trip. Podcasting in her future. Yeah, she's a little, she's always here. One of them is always in the background lurking. So, Justin, do you want to do, like, I guess if anybody that's here that's actively looking, Justin, what should they tell you so that you could jump in and do a couple searches for them?
All right, so real quick, say hi, of course, if you haven't yet. Quick, just so I can do it in my search engine, just a quick, hey, location. Location's a big thing. If you're looking for remote, it was a fun joke last 2 weeks ago. We ran into this remote job that was like $150,000, something like that, and we are like, oh, everyone's applying to that right now, right? So try to get it more of Las Vegas, Nevada, San Diego, California, wherever that, and then what type of job title. Now, one thing I say about job titles is they can vary widely between different companies, right? And what I mean by that is every single time you can say, hey, here's this role and it has this description. And then you go to this next company, same description, almost near identical description, different job title. So that's where you kind of have to understand as you're searching, look at different job titles that may suit you.
Exactly. Lincoln said this is our Saturday morning hangout.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Lincoln. Yes, we are here a couple more Saturdays until the end of the month. Then I go back to my regularly scheduled programming. I love you all, though.
But the piece is, every time we do this, Renee, someone, at least one person is being helped at a minimum. And that's why I love, and I've been doing this for years, on LinkedIn with chatting with people, things of that nature, is it's kind of giving back to that overall community and helping, hey, it's Saturday, it's 1 o'clock. All right, well, we're all still in quarantine, so that's another good thing.
Right.
It's a good time to do something.
Totally. And for those of you who do not know, Justin Jones has his own. Do you still run that? I know you had your own.
I think that kind of triggered yours to start. So I want to say maybe.
Not I know really, but
oh, my bad.
We had a different agenda, but yes.
So for about a month, right? I was getting recruiters on. It was crazy. Like almost every night, I had this recruiter on, this recruiter. I'd have IBM on, I have TK Systems, I'd have just a wide range of recruiters on, right? And I'd have people come on. I'm probably 100, 200 people coming in. And I ran that for a solid month, and then I got burned out. I just was like, all right, well, that was fun. And I kind of moved on from that, because if people don't understand, you can put a lot of resources into building something like this, and then it can take a lot of time away from other things.
You know what's funny, Justin? I didn't realize it was a month. It felt like so much longer than that.
Because it was every day, and it was a new host every single day. I mean, It was crazy. I still have my the account and everything, but it was every single day. I was like, all right, here's this host, and I mean, people were applying on the spot. Like, hey, I have this person that has 1,000 jobs in the IT sector. Right. They want you to apply right now. Go to this link, because I'd have their job link,
right?
Their LinkedIn profile, all that stuff, and it was just massive. All these people were applying, and all these recruiters were saying thank you back to me, because now they're filling vacancies that they may have had for weeks, months, at that point.
Right. So Justin, tell people who may not have known. So Justin, and I'll prep it, but Justin used to run, and I didn't realize this was a month. It felt like it was so much longer, but you had like a recruiter corner, right? Or so Justin, and every once in a while we do. So with Breaking Into Security, our the reason why we started ours is we wanted peer to peer. So we wanted people typically under 5 years experience sharing their experience with other people under 5 years experience, or people who are entry level, consider early career talent, right? So folks who don't have a ton of experience because it's such a struggle to break into this industry. Now, Justin, you were actively looking for a job at that time, right? Maybe like 2
Correct.
years ago.
This is what was crazy. So I'm an IT. So if you're in the Navy, I was IT1. Basically, I was E6. I was 14 years in, had no outside experience. I had no commercial experience, nothing. I joined the Navy at 20. I got out at 34, right? So I had 14 years experience. Roughly about a year and a half before I got out is whenever I started looking and stuff like that. About 8 months before I got out is whenever I made that podcast. So I had no connections, no nothing. The only thing I had was LinkedIn, right? Now with LinkedIn, I have 30,000 connections. So that's crazy. How do I have 30,000 connections? That's just crazy, right? So I was building up connections with recruiters, and then at the same time, I was like, hey, there's these other people that are looking too. Why don't I connect with other people that are looking and with recruiters, and we just merge the two? And it was phenomenal. Like, it was just like this crazy merge, and it was like, hey, they're actually getting jobs. They're actually filling seats. And another piece of why I did it was I said, hey, they're talking about the cybersecurity gap. I don't think there is one. There's a talent that's out there. Let them set in those seats.
Right. Right. And so you had, well, I don't think I was able to come on because of my schedule, and my kids were a little bit smaller, and I think you used to do them in the evening.
Yes, it
But
was.
like late, but late and Holcomb, like a lot of my friends, recruiter friends, would come on and, share what they're looking for, bring their jobs, all that good stuff. And it was amazing. And so what Justin had done, and I'm gonna share the YouTube link. What Justin had done is still out there. It's on YouTube. He said so when we start. And I feel like Justin, like, looks like we're gonna start. We're gonna have to continue this little this little show, bring
Well,
everybody on, but maybe November. Maybe
yeah. So the thing too, so this is there, right? So this is history from 2018 now. Holy crap! It's wow. We're almost
2018.
in 2021, right? So this is like August,
Yeah.
September 2018. I can't even believe it was that long
Yeah,
ago
my
now.
little one was like, she was still like a little baby, like I feel like under one or maybe one, something like
Yeah,
that.
and I've been with Jacobs for like a year and a half now, so it's really
Yeah,
crazy. But what I would say is that information that's on there, there's so much resources, especially at the end, the last 15, 20 minutes was Q&A session. It was legit live, just like this. You asking a recruiter, hey, how do you find someone? Hey, where do you post these things at? Like, you were quizzing this recruiter to find out new ways to get that job.
yep. It was all the behind the scenes stuff,
Oh
which is
yes.
similar to what Danny and I and Jen did. Danny Barker and Jennifer, I forget Jen's last name. We had one, I think it was this past Thursday, yes. And we talked about the differences between recruiters and sourcers, and we talked about social media and how social media impacts, when people are looking for jobs, and what recruiters can see and can't, pretty much we can see everything with the right tools. And so it ended up being this very long episode because it was so enlightening, and I don't think people fully understood what recruiters can see, what hiring managers can see. Like, if you use that email address and it goes across all the different platforms, and recruiter bashing, a bunch of different things that came up that they had seen, and they were like, who is going to it's the perception of what the person is writing that's out there, and it could be looked at in a negative way. So it's just very, very powerful. And Justin, I have to give you like total kudos for bringing in all those folks back then. And I guess we should start it up. I think it would be very, very helpful right now. Maybe I'll coerce Justin into doing it with me and getting his.
So what I can do is in November, and we can do probably Saturdays, or try to I had to do evening times if it's during
Yeah.
the weekday, or if it's on a Saturday, Sunday, do it, during the day. But I can definitely reach out to some recruiters, especially with Jacobs, but that's more of a clearance based recruiters.
Yeah.
But I can definitely bring in like one of my recruiters, and
Yeah.
then I can bring in some public recruiters too that are
Yeah.
DoD, non-clearance based,
Hmm.
and we can have a little round robin discussion of how people are interviewed, how they source people, A to
All
Z,
of it.
whatever question you have, and that's a live chat. There's no filters. It's you ask a question, either someone on that platform will answer you right there on live, and it will 100% help you in your job search.
For sure. So we're going to answer a couple questions because we both have to run soon.
Yeah.
Patrick Moten wants to know, what would you say? Experience, certifications, education, in which order? Patrick, San Diego, InfoSec analyst or cyber analyst, entry level, and no clearance.
So because you point out no clearance, that's a different subject, right? So let me hit on the clearance portion real quick, and then we'll go to non-clearance, right? So with clearance, it's a hard requirement on certifications. I want to say that again. It is a hard requirement. Sometimes there can be like little waivers, maybe 60 days, 6 months, things like that. But typically that's a hard stop. So for me, whenever my recruiting team looks for people, if you don't have that certification or you post about, hey, I am attaining it or something like that, they really don't even reach out, right? Because that's a hard stop. It's just like not having clearance. So I would say having the education is a big ticket, and Renee probably can speak a lot better to this too, because I'm more in the DoD realm. But education, experience, and then certification. I would say that those are kind of how I would look at it in the public sector. But again, like I said, in the DoD realm, certifications trumps. You can have a doctorate in something. If you don't have that certification, they can't hire you because it's a hard requirement to access those devices.
Which is, and you know what, Justin, I shared that info because when you came on a couple of weeks ago, CISOs. So we've been having a lot of CISOs come on. And for those of you who don't know what a CISO is, it's a Chief Information Security Officer, usually the top person in a cybersecurity department or information security department. And a number of CISOs have said, and on the private side, in the private sector side, is that they don't even put college degrees on or certifications on their job description. It's not for them. It's not necessary. It's not needed. They just want an open field, and they'll bring in the talent, and whoever has the right experience and can do what they are asking the person to do, that person is the person who that they're looking to hire, regardless of your formal education. Now, I have worked mostly. My experience is mostly in large Fortune 500, mostly honestly Fortune 100 organizations, when I would either be internally as an internal HR person / recruiter, or externally as a headhunter helping these people. My experience has been the vast majority of them will require a degree. So they have, and I have to kind of check to see if what has changed recently, because I know with the Trump administration saying that the changes in degrees for the federal government, other people typically follow suit. So it may have changed or it may be changing. But as of like about a year ago, almost all of those organizations, they would put a degree as a requirement. So it's really case by case based on from the private sector on, like, especially like startups, which is, I think, most from what I'm hearing and talking to people, seems like most of the startups will, when you're entry level, you're more likely to get into a startup environment quicker than like one of these large Fortune 500 type of organizations. So that's step one. So, if you're looking for the easiest path, which is quite frankly what we all should be looking for to get ourselves employed and get ourselves experience, then I would go with experience. But that experience will likely come from a combination of either an associate's degree or taking classes or taking the certification classes. So it's not even only getting the certification, it's kind of going through the Okay, I took the security plus, what did I learn? Okay, I'm applying that knowledge and I'm actually doing, like, I'm applying that and I'm gaining experience, even if it's self-directed experience. So it sounds convoluted, I know, but in Justin's case, DOD security cleared folks, you have to have a certification, point blank, period. They will not entertain you at all, right? In private sector, I'm going to go in two different directions in the private sector. Startup, smaller company, probably a whole lot flexible, more flexible. Really looking for people to kind of jump right in. Experience is key. And then public sector experiences, not public sector, larger organizations, experience is also key, but they will want you to have some kind of education. So, if a minimum of an associate's degree or something, they will want you to have a degree. That's what I've been seeing in the market. And we'll continue to bring on leaders to ask them those types of questions. Like, what are you looking for when you look for entry-level talent or people who are pivoting into security? So, Justin, I don't know if you're going to be able to help any more people because we're at like 2:05 here. So Patrick, you may have to connect with Justin offline. And then Philip also, Lincoln says, Justin, do you know of a good resource for mock interviews, even better specifically in the infosec space?
So I've seen multiple people post different articles, different links, things like that. I would say one of the best ways to do a mock interview is with someone, period. You can have all these different resources to, hey, here's all these questions that could possibly be asked, right? You need to have that two-way street when you're doing a mock interview, though, period. So I would definitely do a little bit more research into that aspect and see if there is maybe some service providers or someone in the industry that can give you those mock interviews, hopefully for free. But I'm sure there is some outlet out there that will say, hey, pony up some money, I will, have X person show up for 30 minutes, an hour, a live chat with that. So why I say a live interaction, it's so you're not just, you don't just focus on, hey, here's some questions and hey, this is the only questions they're going to ask. For PC tech, for instance, I know that's not strictly cybersecurity, but I have a small, maybe 4 or 5 questions that I always ask. And then I have another 15, 20 questions that I will freestyle, just based off our conversation, how I feel you did about those 4 or 5 questions. And then I just go from there.
So Gina says, reach out to her. She'll do it with you for free. Thank you, Gina. And then Reginald says here that he wants to thank me, Renee. I have started talking with Perscolas, and I wanted to bring this up because Perscolas, thank you, Reginald. I'm glad you took action and reached out to Perscolas. So Perscolas, for people who do not know, is a training organization. I believe it is free. However, it is like a 40-hour-a-week program. So yesterday or a couple of days last week, we had a couple of people on who had been through the Perscolas program. One person got his A+ Security Plus and Network Plus. And then they also help them with, they coach you and help you with a lot of the, what you're just talking about. So the mock interviews, all that as well. There's another organization called Year Up. The only thing with Year Up is that I believe you have to be under 24 years old. And actually you have to be between 19 and 24. I think they don't take you if you're under 18. It's a very specific age range. They're also free. However, you have to meet a socioeconomic requirement for that group. So Reginald, I'm super excited that you are over there talking to them. Hopefully everything works out. I've pushed people in their direction over the years and, I've gotten nothing but very, very positive feedback. The only thing is it is a commitment because it's 40 hours a week. It's like a job. So it's 40 hours a week for a couple months. But then when you come out, they are giving you the experience. They are telling you, and these people are getting jobs at all the Fortune 500 companies, government agencies. Like one of the people that was on, he was at the IRS. They got stepping stones into places. I know there's a big group that I'm trying to bring on here. They're at Capital One. So definitely one of these organizations is a really, really great place. And I believe they are free as well.
Renee, I wanted to piggyback off that real quick before we wrap this up. If you could share what I sent real quick. Yep. So basically, this is crazy. So a few months ago, Google actually launched a program that allows you to go through a course. Once you complete that course, you can apply to 50 different companies. And they will say, because you have that education, you qualify for certain positions. That's no education. That's no certifications. That's you entry level joining the IT sector, and IT can lead to cybersecurity and to other aspects. So I highly, highly recommend looking at that Google link where you can do that IT support piece. I haven't done it myself, of course, but that's a quick, easy way to say, hey, I want to get into IT. I want to get into cybersecurity. Hey, here's this resource Google gave. And at the end of it, these 50 companies, 50 large companies, including Google, will actually entertain interviewing and things of that nature. So I think that's a phenomenal resource for entry level people that are maybe still in college. They may just now be looking at doing certifications and that nature.
Yeah, I'm gonna I know I posted it just now and it went to YouTube, so I'm gonna post it right now and send it to the LinkedIn group. So it's grow.google, right?
Yep.
/programs. Yikes. Program.
// IT tech support.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
as we're wrapping up, like I've said 2 weeks ago, definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm open. I don't charge anyone. I don't navigate you towards any certain company. I literally say, here's who you are. Here's a little bit of background about you. All right, here's some openings that I can find for you, and that's kind of how I look at it. And then I might also give you, some more opinions and things of that nature.
Exactly. So Justin, thank you so much for being here. Everyone else, Shreya says thank you for the resources. Thank you, Justin.
You're
This
welcome.
is this is the resource that Justin talks about. It's grow.google /programs/IT-support. And what Justin just said is that people can apply to those roles and end up with opportunities through going through this program. You can pretty much, one application goes out to 50 different companies.
Yep, and
Right?
that's no college experience, that's no certifications, that's no experience. That's literally Google built this a few months ago to say, how do we fill the IT gap? How do we fill the cybersecurity gap? And they, as a large company, took that action and said, hey, here is our way of getting you from point A to point Z.
Yep, 100%. And IBM, I believe, has something too. So when we come back the next time, we'll have some resources because I know IBM is doing something. I know Western Governors University is having something that's like a wallet where you take all your different experiences. They consider it like some kind of like a wallet. So you don't, in the future, there won't be a whole bunch of resumes. It's like somebody can kind of see all your certifications and everything else. So a lot of stuff happening, which is great. A lot of awesome free resources, which is great. Paying for something is great, but why? You don't have to.
This was free for everyone watching, and they just got all this extra information that they didn't have an hour ago.
Yeah, 100%. So Justin, thanks again. Everyone, Justin, Sergey or Sergey said that his connection request is still pending with you. So Justin got
so I get
Justin got kicked off of LinkedIn the other day because he put a post up and he was trying to approve 2,500 or so connections, and LinkedIn thought he was a bot. So it might have gotten caught up in that. So we had to tell everyone.
I've been going through maybe like 50 or so a day. I'm just trying not to hit that hard limit again.
Right. Yeah.
Because
it's coming.
Yeah, I see him right now. Get with me offline, Sergey, and we'll get it corrected.
Yeah, we'll get it all done. All right. Thanks, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. And Justin, thank you. And we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Breaking Into Cybersecurity. Bye, everybody.
Bye.